What bag do y'all like so far?
I really like that one.
I'm a simple girl. I like the black one.
The black one, yeah.
The big and the small one.
Really? Yeah, you should try it on before you leave today. Yes, because you can wear it like around your waist. You can wear it crossbody. It's really cute, personal. Yeah.
Oh, that's what that was for. I thought we put the stand out to go live. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Can
Do you
it
need
have
her to
two?
take it?
Or
It doesn't
can
have
you hold my
shoes.
phone too?
I just worry about being a little shaky if you don't
Yeah.
mind.
That's all.
Or let's just, until we're done going live, let's have yours on the stand. On the stand, yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
okay.
Yeah.
You can give it to her later. Hey guys, we're live. Is that see? Did I pick the right page? I did. Okay. All right. Good?
Yeah. Wait.
All right. Awesome. Perfect. Let's do this. All right. Hello, everyone. We are here at Charette Cosmetics, and we're here for a little, we can just call it our little CEO chit chat. We usually do that on Instagram Live, so here we are doing it with these beautiful ladies to my left and to my right. We have, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Alexandra Ali, designer and founder of F&W Style Luxury Leather Handbags. Tasha, also known as Touch by Tasha, celebrity esthetician.
Awesome. And I'm here, founder of CEO Chicks, Colleen Otero. And so we're just going to have some good conversation with you ladies. And we have some beautiful ladies with us here at Charette Cosmetics that will also, of course, we're going to be answering all your questions and engaging with you all for sure. Because we want to get into what made you get into the beauty industry, all of those good things. We saw your handbags. We were in your zone, so we got to see what you do. So just talk to us about what made you get into the skincare industry.
So I had issues with my own personal skin. I think that was the root of it. I always knew I wanted to be in the beauty industry. Initially, I wanted to do PR and work maybe behind the scenes, but God had other plans. And I was kind of at a place where I was kind of confused what to do, where to go, kind of lost in a sense as far as finding my own path, making it tangible, and also making money. And so I started out working at Ulta, just a random beauty store. And from there, I built relationships that kind of opened the door to the world of aesthetics, something that I didn't even know existed. I had issues with my own skin, very, very bad hormonal acne. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I wear my skin loud and proud now. I rarely even wear makeup. And that time where I was dealing with acne was kind of one of the darkest times for me. I was very insecure. I would get ready in the dark. That's how bad and insecure I was with my own skin. And that kind of planted a seed on how other women and men feel and sparked my passion. And so from there, I went into aesthetic school, graduated. It wasn't the easiest getting into because I felt like when I became an esthetician, it wasn't a big thing. People didn't even know what that was. And so a lot of people are like, how are you gonna even make money doing that? Like, you're just gonna massage people's face for a living? Literally, my family told me that. And so I worked at a med spa, took advantage of kind of my hunger and my thirst. I ended up meeting the current owner of Charette Cosmetics through social media, the power of Instagram and social media. We connected. He was actually working at a spa himself, did not own anything. And he basically told me, I'm gonna keep you in mind for when I start my own thing. And a year later, that's exactly what he did. And I ended up moving from Orlando, Florida to Atlanta, Georgia to help him start a med spa. Everyone thought I was crazy, but it ended up working out. I moved to Atlanta, made my first 6 figures that same year. Mind you, this is during COVID. So people are like, you have a very person-to-person work, and we're in COVID, there's a lot of restrictions, like how are you gonna do this? I was like, I don't know, but I really feel like this is what God's telling me to do. And I'm happy that I did because it's opened doors for me. I've been able to build my own brand and do what I love and help people all around the world. I have so many testimonials of people who are suicidal, depressed, and I've been able to help them feel better within themselves and their skin. You don't realize how big not feeling comfortable with yourself will restrict you in your life. But yeah, that's kind of a little background.
Yeah, no,
That's
thank you
good.
for that, right?
You can put that on your page.
Thank you. Yeah, we talked about it
Yeah.
on one of our lives, and it was just so good because, you know, a lot of times people don't know the backstory or our why, you know, what made us get into the work that we're in. And I think a lot of times, like, we're seeking to solve our own problem. And that's what happened with me, how I got into the beauty industry as well when I was younger. You know, similar thing. It's like some of the problems we seek to solve become an actual product or a service or a business because that's the nature of the game. Like, entrepreneurship is about serving.
Yeah.
It really is. It is about serving. And so I'll turn over to you, Alex. So can you just share a little bit about your backstory? Why bags? Like how did that, were you obsessed with bags? Were you a bag junkie?
You know what? I always loved bags. So prior to doing all of this, I was in school, I used to model, and I would travel to all these places and just collect things, and it just happened to be bags. And then I would come back home and do these like home events where I would invite friends, some customers where I worked as a banker as well, invite them to my house, and we'll do like these purse parties. And I would
Okay.
So I would sell the purses that way. So that's how it really all started. So at some point my husband was like, look, you always complain how modeling is, you're getting older, so they're not booking you as much. And then you also complain that you don't like what you're doing. Why don't you start your own thing? And mind you, this is 13 years ago. Nobody was starting their own thing. So I was like, you know what? Let me try. Let me look it up. Let me find out how to even begin. So I started calling people, and everybody was just kind of like, no, or they didn't give me any information. Everybody was kind of tight-lipped on how they got it. I called a lot of like people from my modeling days. I just wanted to know how you start your brand. Where do I get a manufacturer? All those things. And people were just really tight-lipped. Until I found one person that was like, well, you can do this, or you can find a manufacturer here. And then I started doing the research, and then I was looking for somebody that would be a blueprint, right, for me. And I could not find any Black woman-owned handbag brand. And I'm like, I never knew that was a problem. I just assumed that there were a lot of them. I could not find one. And so I decided at that time, I said, well, I will be one. I don't know how. I was working at the bank. I didn't have much money, but I would be one. So I started out with one sample.
Hi, come on in.
Hello, how are you all?
Hi, gorgeous. Hey, family.
Beautiful.
Kai, you can bring some of those around from that side. Oh.
Yeah, the
It's okay. It's all good. But that, literally was a gap. You found a gap.
A gap. And so I started out with just a few samples. I made it, and that's all I had. And I would go from store to store, and I would be like, hey, I have a brand, and I want to show you what I have. And they're like, okay, show us your line sheet. And I'm like, well, it's really just this 3 bags. And they're like, how many colors does it come in? Black, white, and pink, just these colors, these 3 bags, nothing else. And obviously that came with a lot of, no, you need more experience, we won't do it. I found a lady that said, you know what, I will do a pop-up event for you here in my store. And if you get people to come out, I will start to carry your line. And not only that, I will introduce you as a franchise to other franchise owners. And man, when I tell you I packed the place out, I called my friends, their moms, even my friends that didn't have any money, I said, y'all, go buy it, and I'll give you the money. Turn it to me, cash at it, $1,000 right now, just do it. So we packed out the place, she sold, and she started carrying my line, introduced me to other people, got into luxury hotels like Ritz-Carlton, and just kept going from there. So, yeah,
That's amazing.
That is amazing, but she kept knocking on those doors until she found that one person that would at least say, not gatekeep, right? That's the word right now online. No gatekeeping, no gatekeeping, no gatekeeping. And oftentimes people will say, you know, an industry is so saturated. Did either of you feel like, well, you kind of said that you were still new, right? Like the whole esthetician, what do they call it now? Esty or Esty Bestie. Esty Bay. Like now it's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Because of course a lot of women of color did not always spend so much money on, you know, Botox is still a new thing for a lot of us, right? Or going in and having laser treatments. Or I used to do it, but I feel like I told you when I got the laser treatment, it was too harsh for my skin because of our melanin, I guess, whatever. I don't know the science behind it. But I was like, girl, I'm flying to Atlanta for you to do my face because I don't think they understand my skin type. So for you didn't really feel like it was oversaturated. You would have to do more education, would you say?
Yeah, I feel like now it's oversaturated, but I feel like I'm blessed because I've already got my foot and built my own platform before it became oversaturated. So now people kind of know, there's a lot of people who say they're estheticians, but I know that she knows what she's doing. So in my respective career in being an esthetician at the time, no, not a lot of people knew what an esthetician was, and not a lot of women of color did it, and not a lot of women of color were treating women of color.
Right.
So I think that I was blessed to kind of get into it when it was so new and fresh, because now everyone wants to be an esthetician.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone trying to ask.
But we have an answer for that too, right? We have some courses coming up for them, don't we?
Exactly.
I was like, oh no, you got something for that. And for you, so the market, you're seeing a lot of handbags, but not enough representation.
Yeah.
Would you say? So did you was there a moment where you felt like, should I be doing this? Is it like, how did you overcome that, or just share a little bit about that portion of it, the emotional side? Or...
I feel like, you know, thankfully I had a mentor that told me something early on in my building this brand. He said, it's never saturated or crowded at the top. He was like, when, you know, people are saying, oh, musicians, there's singers everywhere. Do you think Beyonce is worried about it being oversaturated? Because it's not oversaturated where she's at.
Come on.
So be excellent in everything that you're doing and keep moving forward.
Be the best.
Be the best. And that has really stuck with me, and I've done that in everything that I've done. I mean, when we sell, like I said, to Nordstrom's, to Bloomingdale's, there's not a lot of Black-owned brands there. And I hope that more come in, but it's not saturated there. You know what I mean? So it's just, when you know your lane and you're excellent at it, you just break out from the crowd.
Yeah, that is so good. I remember I was speaking, some of you know Jay Boland. He's a celebrity. Okay, so I was speaking at one of his boot camps some years ago, and in my message that I had prepared for his students, I was sharing, because a lot of them want to launch, right? They want to launch into that space, and they want to get into becoming, you know, like their mentor, you know, Jay Boland. And I remember saying these words when, you know, when a lot of times when we launch and we do something and we feel like we're not gaining traction, or we feel like things are not going in the direction that we want it to go in, that sometimes if we're not careful, we can feel like it's because of our skin color, right? We, in America, you're from Nigeria, I'm from Jamaica, and one of the things I notice sometimes in American culture is that race is just always at the forefront of the conversation. And I'm not here to say whether or not we live in a racist country or this or that, or if you're going through microaggressions, or, because likely you are, okay, to some degree you may be, right? But ultimately it can't be our focus. And I remember sharing that a lot of times Black-owned businesses are not seeing the success, not because of their skin color. It's not because you're Black, it's because you're new. It's because you're new. It's because, and she mentioned that, it's because you don't have that experience yet, you know, and you don't have someone that's really giving you the blueprint yet. And so you're fumbling the ball a lot of times until you figure it out. And then once you figure it out, then you start to gain some steam. And then you start to get more wisdom. And then you start to gain traction and momentum, right? And so I think that is so key. That reminded me of that talk that I had with them. Because it was like an aha moment for a lot of women. It really was. And I'm like, we gotta stop that. We gotta stop making that an issue, make it their issue. That's a you problem. I'm gonna keep going, and I'm gonna focus on not whether I'm black or not. I'm gonna focus on being the best. Period, point blank. So I want you to call me not because of my skin color. I want you to call me because my bags are the best. I want you to come lay in my chair or on my table because these hands, honey. You know, like when I retired from the beauty industry, my clients were all races. All races and genders. Like literally, I had met male clients, Caucasian clients, Asian clients. You've seen them, like Carolyn. She's been my mentee for so long, so she's seen my transition out of the beauty industry. By the time I was like, I don't want to have to turn anyone away. So I would do any training I need to. I'm going over here to this beauty. I'll be at Bronner Brothers, but I'll also be at, I forgot the other beauty brand companies that are predominantly Caucasian. But I would go over there for training too. You know what I mean? I'm going to take that Paul Mitchell class. I'm going to be the best hair colorist. And I literally remember one of my Caucasian clients was like, now how in the world is it that you are the best at doing my hair color than someone of my race? I was like, because I studied. I study the science behind these colors. Even with my hair now, people think I still do hair because I'll buy it and I'll do my thing to it. And they're like, no, that's not fair. Because we can't get what you got because you're still doing your thing to these wigs. You know, I'm like, listen, it is what it is. So it's the skill is what I'm saying, is that you have mastered something. And I think that's so important for us to become people of mastery. Like, I want to master the gift and the talents that God has given me. All right, wonderful. Now that we've mastered the skill, where does the money come from? Right? Like I know that, you know, launching anything, you were part of launching Charette Cosmetics. And so it takes money to launch. It takes money to do anything. And you've also helped with opening several locations. Is that something you can talk about? As far as okay, can you just share a little bit about what it really looks like and takes to have enough runway to launch successfully?
Realistically, to launch a med spa, you're looking at least $1 million. Wow. And that's between equipment, lasers, machines. We don't go cheap when it comes to like aesthetically getting our spa together. The beds down to the chairs, computer equipment, all we use is Apple. So definitely, and one thing that I will say is not once have we ever taken out a loan. You know, this is all from hard work. You know what I'm saying? We work where we're at to build, to create. Okay, now we can move on to the next level instead of just starting to just open things when you don't even have the flexibility to do so. You have to be, you know, smart with that as well. But even the core work, I remember I was just so used to in Atlanta. It's a trendy city, so once you get a couple people in the door, everyone wants to come. So I was just so used to the high traffic here. When I opened Dallas, it was I remember calling Colleen, like, I'm pulling my hair out. I'm not getting clients.
Like, all right, hold on, girl.
No one's
Let's
coming
breathe.
here. I can't do this. I'm making significantly, like, way less than what I'm used to making. Like, what do I do? I had to pivot. I had to learn the culture. I had to learn the people. It's so different. It's not a trendy city. People also are going to really want to know, like, is this something I should put my working dollar into? They're not going to just spend their money there. And that is fine. It's just, it comes with the territory. So it took me about 6 to 7 months to really grow a consistent clientele. And to be able to staff the location, because I had to give the esthetician clients to work with at that point. We couldn't just give her that endeavor to grow and build that clientele. So it took a lot of work and consistency and networking. I went to the gyms. I went to the coffee shops. I went to the malls, and I would literally go to the mall with all my business cards. Where's Sephora? I'm handing out my cards. Like, I did the groundwork, and that's something that I wasn't used to in Atlanta. I was just used to getting a celebrity in, post it on social media. Next thing you know, people are DMing me, people are booking. It wasn't the same thing. I tried the micro-influencer approach in Dallas. It didn't work. I had to hit the streets and do like
Old school, face-to-face marketing.
Face-to-face
Get out and
marketing.
meet people.
Yes.
Talk to humans.
Yeah.
Wow.
Talk to a human at the store. Because she's an introvert too.
No, it was hard. It was really hard. I was just like, oh my God, what are you gonna think? I'm just a random person walking in, and I would walk to the people with like the worst of the worst skin, like, you need this girl. Where I knew they were like, oh my gosh, there's an answer. Okay, I'm coming to you, and it worked. They were bringing their friends, they were bringing their cousins. You know, I had a client that bring like 4 other people with her, and they became my clients just because her family seen what I did with her skin. They wanted to come. So I think the most important thing is, like, as an entrepreneur, what may have worked for you in 2005 might not work for you in 2010. You have to be able to pivot, you have to transition, not give up, because it's easy. I could have been like, you know what, bye, I'm headed back to Atlanta. But I was like, no, I want to test my perseverance and what I can do. And so just pivoting.
Yeah. Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys, for the most part, were bringing in clients and then using the cash and reinvesting it into the business, reinvesting it into the
100%.
business. Okay,
That's
so you
it.
guys pretty much, that's bootstrapping, right? We know that. We know that pretty well.
Yeah.
Is Instagram Live still with us?
Yeah, I'm just
Awesome.
making sure they stay. I'm waving.
Oh, all right. Now, it's different for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness, because I see all the stories,
Yeah.
you know. And so, can you share a little bit about your just experience and how you're, you know, being able to fund this beautiful brand?
Thank you. Yeah, so it's definitely different in like with handbags and things like that. When I started, like I told you guys, I was working as a banker, and I decided I was going to start this company, but I was never the kind of person to quit your job and just start it, because one thing that will
Listen.
stop creativity is needing money.
Yes.
Because once you do, then you just can't create.
Yeah.
So while I was working, I decided to start my brand. I was doing both full time, and then once the brands got to a certain point, I was like, okay, well, I need to go part time. And thankfully, I went from my management position, I went into being a personal banker. I did that part time and was doing both at the same time. And then it got to a point where it was like, okay, girl, you need to choose because you just don't have enough time to do both. And then that's what I did. I transitioned into doing my business full time. Me and my husband also made a decision that we know why we're doing this. We're doing this because we want to build a brand that's a household name. We want to be able to create the future that we want for my family and my family's family. So we decided, so that means we weren't taking all the trips. That means we were in our condo for a long time before we got our dream house. That means that, you know, when people are out, like my friends are like, oh, we're doing this, we're going, we just couldn't do that. So making that decision and knowing why I'm doing it, that really just kept me in the means of I'm staying in my lane, I'm doing what I can afford, and that's it. And even with hiring people for my brand, we started out with interns, then I got one employee, then I got another employee, and then just kept going from there. Then I was able to, you know, have my mom and be able to, you know, help her with all the things that they're doing. So I feel like just taking it one step at a time until it becomes this big thing. And another thing that I know that helps my business is not just having one source of income. Sometimes when they say multiple sources of income, people think that means like you're gonna do all different things. You're gonna be a hairdresser and a caterer and a no. You can make multiple sources of income within one business.
That's right.
So with F&W Style, I know that online, we sell online, but that goes like this. But then we also do events. There are certain events that we know are going to be successful for us, and we do it year after year. But we also get sponsorships, and we also get grants for our business, which helps to bring money. Then we also do wholesale, and I do private labeling for companies as well. So all those together as what's been able to make us successful. If I was just doing one thing, look, 2020 would have wiped us out because, you know, stores were not ordering anything like that. I mean, like, they were canceling left and right. Like, we have orders that were upwards of $100,000, and they're like, we don't need it anymore. Like, what do you mean you don't need it anymore? We're literally in the middle of manufacturing. Manufacturers are closing down. They don't. So that really shifted and opened our mind into diversifying. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yes.
Where did you find your interns?
Okay, so we seems like a question for Kendriana. That's my fashion director, but yeah. So it's we do through schools like SCAD and Kennesaw State, Georgia State. We've had interns from everywhere, so we do that. We also have found LinkedIn to be a really great tool because as a business owner, there's a student out there that literally just wants to learn from you. They want to be a part of your team. And what we found is that these students come in with such fresh, new ideas. You know, we're doing the TikToks, we're doing the dances, we're like, they have all
that
fresh,
fire, honey.
new ideas. So it always, every semester we have new interns. Some of them want to stay multiple semesters, but that has been a great tool for our brand and helps us, helps them. They get class credit. We get new employees to help us with all these events that we're doing. So, yeah.
Awesome. Any more questions? I was actually going to turn it over. And any questions on Instagram? If you have any questions, let me know. What was your question? Did she answer it?
No, she didn't answer it.
Okay, go ahead.
There was a part of the, when she was discussing about that the market was saturated. I was asking, at this point now, where is there to go if the market is saturated? Is there any room for growth?
Absolutely. I think, and we touched on, I'm glad you asked this because I wanted to touch on this, and you talked about this a little bit, but a lot of people want to be the master, but not a lot of people want to take the time to learn the skill. And that's what separates a lot of people in, especially the world of aesthetics. People want to be an esthetician. People want to treat celebrities. And for me, it's not even about that. I love doing what I do, regardless if it's a 9-to-5, a business owner, whether it's an actress, a rapper, a singer, it doesn't matter. So what separates and what will keep you kind of stood out of the crowd is being a master at your skill. Taking the time to learn. I'm constantly learning, reading, seeing who's doing what, researching. Last year, we went to 2 seminars around the world to learn about the latest lasers. I always have skincare reps who are doing new things come in. What are you doing? What products are you using? I'm interested. So I think in an oversaturated, whatever career you choose, is being a master at the skill and never just seeing yourself as, oh, I know everything. Always wanting to be a student. I think that's what separates me. Yeah, taking the time to learn.
Any other questions?
I guess the question would be more towards you versus,
Sure.
But I think that they both can kind of chime in. Okay, so when you're talking about mentorship, you just happen to kind of run up on a mentorship, but then you talked about Colleen was your mentor. How did mentorship come about?
Yeah.
How did you find a mentor?
I think we all can answer it. I'll start first because I have mentors as well. One mentor that comes to mind, I reached out to her and sent her an email. I found her, she had 300 followers. That's why you can't go off, you can't be going off the followers, honey. She had 300 followers, but she's also one of the #1 Black PR firms in Chicago. And I sent her an email. I let her know who I was, what I do, that there are times that I'm doing pop-ups in her city. I would love to take her for lunch. And lo and behold, she responded. And that was a game changer for me. But one of the things that was so important too is that I wanted to also add value to her. You know what I mean? I didn't want it to just be, I'm pulling and I'm asking questions and how do I do this? She even let us do, did you come to that? She let us do one of my boardroom boot camps in her skyrise, which is right across from Trump Towers overlooking the Chicago Bay area, which is just beautiful. We had, I think, 2 boardroom boot camps there for CEO Chicks, so we were able to expose them to what she does and all of the various organizations that hire her firm. But ultimately, it's about the approach. She was like, girl, yeah, I don't do social media like that. She's on LinkedIn, of course. She's better on LinkedIn. And she even made sure I was on LinkedIn. But for the most part, I helped her with Instagram. So I would literally, she was like, so you can do my Instagram. She hired my agency to do her Instagram, and I did it for a fraction of the cost that I normally would. And I was doing her social media for a season. But it's relationship. It's relationship. We talked about this yesterday. Monique had a panel discussion that she hosted that I came to talk for. And that's what it was about. We talked about mentorship. We talked about the importance of relationship, it being like reciprocal, right? And what does that look like? And you have to have those open conversations too. Like when my mentor says, one day she just said something to me. I called her, I was stressed about something. And she said, Colleen, you just doing too much. It's like, okay, well, damn. You know? And then she said these words. She said, get what you need. And so I had to sit in that, and I'm like, well, what do I need? You know? And reassess what I was doing and where I was. She was very much vocal about CEO Chicks and that it's more of a nonprofit than a for-profit. So I pivoted, made CEO Chicks a nonprofit. Began to separate my branding agency, kind of starting to merge all together some years ago. And so what I did was made a real good separation between what CEO Chicks was and what I'm doing as a branding coach, consultant, the agency, so on and so forth. So it's I hope that answers your question, but it's all about relationship and having that hunger, like you mentioned, with some of the interns that you see. Like, they're not just, I tell people mentorship is not a photo op. You know what I mean? It's not a photo op.
Yeah.
And we live in a culture that is very much, you know, kind of fan-based, if you will. But it's about doing the work. It doesn't separate, you know what I mean? It doesn't negate the work you have to do, right? So access does not equate to application. Just because you have access, you still have to do the work. You know what I mean? Access doesn't mean authority. Just because you walk through this door, you had access to this building, doesn't mean you get to go up on the computer and look at the look at payroll. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got that kind of authority.
Period.
But sometimes people think just because they have access, they have authority. And so we just have to be the wiser. So I'll let you answer. How'd you find your mentor?
So I will say, so I said mentor, but really in every situation I'm put in, I always try to find people that are the level that I want to be in. And so I don't want you to think like mentor as in like formal, because I know I struggled with that a lot when I first started my business. Because I'm like, man, everybody has all these mentors. Where are they finding the mentors? Mentor me. But I just find the people. What I decided to start doing is finding people that are doing what I'm doing, whatever situation it is, that are at a higher level than I am. So, for example, person that I was talking to you about, I was part of this Goldman Sachs group. Before I even joined the group, he works for Goldman Sachs. I met him at an event, and he's a lot older than I am. And me and my husband, he would just talk to us about like finances and doing stuff like that. We've never had the official mentor, but I call him all the time.
That's right.
I'm like, oh, this is going on. What is your advice about this? When the Goldman Sachs, there's a 10K SB program that, if y'all are a business owner, look up Goldman Sachs 10K SB program, best program. But anyway, so I just, you know, he tells me about things and we talk about things, and you know, he's just become my mentor in my head.
Right.
And then another mentor that I had is a buyer, and she's a buyer for a large retailer. And she has just become my mentor because she's guided me through how to get into stores. And these were all things like I would just go up and start asking questions. Hey, can I take you out to lunch? Hey, I read this article about something. Maybe it'll be useful to you. Just things that where I have no benefit from. You know,
Yes.
hey, I've seen this, or hey, you know, Atlanta is doing this, or I heard about this in New York.
Yeah.
And then from there, they start doing it back to you, like, hey, Alex, I thought about you, and so, and we build that
Come on,
relationship
Alex.
where now they're my mentor. I don't know if they know it or not, but they're my mentor because I'm calling them for anytime I need information, and then also when they see opportunities, they give it to me. So that's how I've been able to collectively have a lot of mentors that I deal with. So maybe that can help.
Wow,
Yes,
wow,
that's
wow, wow,
good.
wow. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. You want to chime in on this?
I think for me, Colleen is so crazy. I was thinking about it the other day. She started off literally doing my hair. And I think it's because of Colleen, I'm so specific on who touches my hair because my hair is my crown. And I didn't recognize it then, but I could just recognize now, like even her touching my hair and her hands just being so blessed and anointing, that anointing being just transferred and just the relationship that came even from that. So it was more than her just doing my hair. It was a seed that was just being planted, and she started doing my hair. I was like probably like 14. I'm 26 now. So from there, and we met through church, but the relationship was beyond that. Like it was literally, you do hair, I love the way you do your hair. Mom, I want her doing my hair. And then from there, she would just talk to me, conversate, ask me questions, and then we just, boom, built a relationship. Later down the road, she became my youth pastor, her and Tony, her husband. The relationship just grew. I feel like she was consistent. You know, that also helped. There's not a lot of consistent people. So when you find someone who's consistent, you stick to them. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like Colleen's been the same since I was 14. Now, you know, as far as character goes.
Amen.
And so from my youth pastor to then, boom, CEO Chicks was birthed. And I was like an intern / assistant for a time.
You ready to take it over, right?
It's crazy. And so it's been like, what, almost 11 years. So I think that just
She said.
it's crazy. But I think consistent relationship. She's just, yeah. I don't know. But I think for me also, I will kind of stem to how I even met the owner of Shred Cosmetics.
Exactly.
Instagram, I reached out. I was like, I love what he does. I want to learn because no one else is doing what he's doing, and I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I reached out to him, and he reached out to me, and then next thing you know, he's asking me to move to Atlanta to help him start his own company. So, not being afraid to just take that initiative to just text a person, message them, send them an email, and you'll be surprised how far that goes.
Good stuff.
I was gonna say something about that because that's exactly how me and Colleen met.
Yeah.
So I was doing an event in Orlando, and I don't know many people. And in Atlanta, I got it. You know what I mean? But in Orlando, I'm just like, wait, what do? I really want to do a panel. I want to have women there and all of that. And literally opened up Instagram, and I just see a post. Like, I don't follow her. I guess it was my For You page, and she's talking and everything, so I'm on her page. I'm like, oh, okay, I love that. Oh, I like that. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to DM her.
You sure did.
And I DM'd her, I said, this is who I am, this is my name, I'm having an event, and I would love for you to be on my panel. I feel like you have a lot. And she responded, and yes, it's just the power of connecting
Connection.
with people and not being afraid. Because
Yeah.
I could have been like, well, I don't know anybody, so I'm just gonna not do anything about it. But I'm like, there's a whole opportunity on this phone to connect
The
with somebody.
phone.
And we connected. I was sending you voice notes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just feel like God wanted us to connect. I'm like, she's probably like, ooh. But it all worked out.
Isn't that wild?
The power of
It is. It's a tool. You meet so many people that are like, "Oh, I hate social media," you know. And I'm like, I want you to stop saying that. I want you to reframe your mindset towards social media. You know what I mean? You might not be like happy about creating content or happy about marketing, but at the end of the day, if you have, just think about it. Sometimes people look at it like, I only have 400 followers. What if you have 400 people in a room?
Yes.
Right, like think about that, like, and you do on your phone, you know. And that's one of the littlest things I tell all my students to do. I'm like, message each and every one of them. Thank them for following you. You know that you'll be so surprised how you're starting to build community right there on your social media page, and that's how CO Chicks began. It was from relationship, and that's it for me. It's all about relationship, and so that's it. Any questions come to mind even after that? That what we were just talking about here recently. Those were great. Those were great. I'm the same way though. I am the same exact way. I'm the same exact way. What's next? You feel, Alex? Alex, tell us about New Voices, because I saw that on your page, and they do funding, don't they?
They do.
Okay.
They do. So with New Voices, I got connected with them because they wanted somebody to speak about getting into stores and boutiques and how a brand can get into that. And so they reached out to me, and I'm like, yeah, I would love to. Anytime that I can speak about stuff and help, especially Black-owned brands, get to the next level, I'm always happy to do it. So I spoke at their panel that they had.
At Essence. Was that Essence?
No,
Or
it wasn't
was
at
it
Essence. This was a few years ago. And it was
Oh, okay. So it just
online.
came back up again in the
So
summer.
yeah, and then they asked, they said, would you like to be a part of the New Voices Foundation? And I didn't know much about them, honestly.
Okay.
Found out it's owned by Rich, who is the also the owner of Shea Moisture and Essence Magazine. And pretty much the goal of New Voices is to fund Black-owned brands, give them opportunities,
Yeah, look them up.
and get
They're
them
awesome.
to the next level. So became a part of New Voices, and it's been great ever since. So many opportunities. We just did something with them where they gave us this collaboration with Pinterest. So we did like a whole thing with Pinterest. It was a sponsored collaboration, and just we spoke at Essence several times through the New Voices. So it's been a great, and that also was just saying yes to something. Like I didn't think about all this when they reached out to me. I just knew that I knew information, I can help somebody else, so why not?
So we have a
A
question.
question on IG.
So
Who's
this
it from?
It comes from Stylin' Beauty Chick. She says, how do business owners show personality on their business page?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think my son is here. He's a creative as well. He's a creative director at my agency, and so we're always talking about how sometimes brands tend to, like women or men, whoever, right? They kind of can pigeonhole themselves when it comes to their brand, or they feel like they can't really express themselves on their business page, and that we gotta constantly keep it separate. But I feel like nowadays, our world, we're so open to having personality. In fact, we want to see it.
Yeah.
We actually want to see your personality, and it can come in various shapes and styles, fashion, however. It depends on what you do and what's authentic to you. You know what I mean? Like, some people are not very telegenic though, right? They're not very telegenic, or they're not really good on camera, so they may struggle with it. So it may be more like including someone else who may have a higher energy, or may have someone that's a bit more, can balance them out in a way to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Whether it's a conversation, or it's a girlfriend, or it's a coworker, or it's a staff member, whatever it is, there's so many ways you can do it. Get ready with me is one way to show personality. Can anyone think of anything else? Get ready with me is
Off-guards,
on.
like
Day in the
off-guard
life.
days.
Day in the life.
Day in the life. So we said day in the life, off guard.
Yeah.
Come with me too.
Come with me too.
Watch
Get ready
me
for
pack
bed
and
with
order.
me.
Yeah, we do
You know,
our
things like
orders.
Behind the scenes.
Day in the studio.
Day in the studio. Look, you got like 5 or 6 for free, girl.
And then also you can just come out and say, hey guys, I'm actually not great on camera, but
Oh.
I decided that I'll be coming out every Tuesday.
More.
I hope you guys can support me and come and start, because to me,
Transparent.
when I hear that, I'm like, oh, let me support her on Tuesdays, because I know how hard it is to come out and do that. So you can be your true self and let people know, you know, I'm just trying here, you know.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Transparency.
Yep. Another question from Silent Beauty Chick again. She asked, what are your individual handles?
Oh, nice.
Touched by Tasha, spelled T-A-C-H-A.
Touched by Tasha. T-A-C-H-A at the end. Mine's Colleen Otero, CEO, but you can just find it in the bio of CEO Chicks. And we'll make sure we tag them on here in FW style.
FW style.
Yeah, pretty simple. So we'll make sure we tag it. Man, this should post, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With New Voices, it says join the family. Is it a membership base or is it like a free community?
It's a free community.
Free, okay.
Yeah, so they still have to, like, they'll send you an email and, you know, vet the business or whatever, but it's a free community.
Okay.
That's what that's.
And it's only for beauty?
No, it's for all brands, all different kind of brands, from hot sauce companies to handbag companies to different companies. Yeah. Hair care.
Yeah. Listen, before we go, September 21st is a very important date. Listen, if you're online, write that down. September 21st in the comments section. We are doing a collaboration with some amazing brands right here in Atlanta. I gotta see if you could come back for that one. That's gonna be awesome. September 21st. It's going to be in the Atlanta area. We are hosting what we call Collaborate, Create, and Dominate. That is our tagline. It's trademarked here at the CEO Chicks Network. It's a little, you know, just a little try it. So you know, but it is all about collaboration over competition, and we're gonna have members of Forbes BLK with us. That's Monique. She's right here in the room. She's the one helping behind the scenes on the camera here. Who else is with us? Oh, 1MBB Shopify is gonna be in the building as well. Ecom Spaces, they're another good one that helps with shipping and manufacturing. That would be a great connect for you, in fact. They're here in Atlanta area. And of course, CEO Chicks, we will be there. Hello Jen, virtual assistant company, will be there as well. So we're excited. Charette Cosmetics, of course, is going to be in the building, and it's just all about coming together. And it's free. It's a free ticketed event. We're selecting the businesses that will come, so please register. The link is in our bio. We want to see you ladies and gentlemen there. It will be our first unisex event, so men are welcomed, and so we want to see you all there. T86 Marketing is going to be there. They are also who is responsible for helping with our community, with managing the community, so you want to be in the building. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Thank you all for being on with us this afternoon. We're going to mix and mingle and like look inside of our handbags, our new handbag, and we got some goodies for the ladies that are here. So I wish you were here. Make sure you're coming out on the 21st. Go and register in the link in our bio, summerinatl.com. All right? Bye. Woo. Thank you, ladies.
You want to leave it on?
I'm gonna post it.
I'm sorry. I could have like 100 questions.
What if I do? Outside this.
Does she have her license yet?
It's really good. I just don't know where to start.
She did like, she did